Hello, my name is Liza, or Caffeine and Misery, and if you can't tell from the thumbnail, playmat here, or the title, today I'm going to be talking about the new upgrades to Varga Dragres with BT-05 with Rakshasa. So I'm going to go over my ride line again quickly. It's going to be the same as the last time I did this. Yes, I'm on the Varga grade 1, which you can Soul Blast to ride for free. I'm just on the regular Varga starter for honestly trying to make people think once I go into the one, oh, they're actually on Varga. It's not going to work very well. But grade 2, still on Boulder Axe. When he's rolled upon by Varga, he calls himself, and then when he attacks on rearguard circle, if you have a Varga Vanguard, he gains 5k, and then at the end of the battle, he retires himself. Which means you don't really lose out on Varga's skills. Well, we're 5 sets in, I'm pretty sure everyone knows it, but just as a quick refresher, on attack you can counterblast 1, you wipe both players' front rows, Varga gains 10k, and at the end of the battle he restands without any drives. Then, for the divine skill, if your opponent's on grade 3, they're at 4 damage, and Varga's attacked twice, you can counterblast 1 at the end of the second battle to restand him with +2 drive, so he gets his 2 checks back. For grade 3s, I'm only on two grade 3s, both at playsets. Obviously, I'm on the new Unparalleled Dragres Varga Dragres Rakshasa, who, when you ride over a differently named Varga Dragres, so the original here, for example, or if we ever get a new one, or another unit in the MALWYRM state, its own unique state, similar to Unison Dress with Leonor, he puts himself into the MALWYRM state, and then if you did not Persona Ride this turn, it triggers Persona Ride. So it's better Unison Dress. It gives the power the first turn. He has 2 skills. First, when he attacks, he automatically wipes the front row and gains 10k. That does not have a cost. Then, at the end of the battle, you can counterblast 1. It'll wipe both players' back rows and restand them without drive checks. Then, his divine skill, at the end of the battle, attacked. You can counter, as long as it stood at least once by its original skill, i.e. you don't hit Drag Veda instead. You can counterblast 1 to restand with +2 drive. And so, it's the same thing. The second swing has no drive checks. The third one, the divine skill swing, gains drive. Then I'm also on 4 copies of Twin Pulse of Dragon from the last set, BT-4, which on place, you Energy Blast 3 to look at the top 5 cards for a grade 2 or lower unit to call. Very simple, very straightforward. All of that, when it's retired from rearguard circle by the ability of your Varga gains 5k. So he turns the +10 to a +15, +20, however many copies you have, which makes those multiple swings even harder to guard. Next up, we're on to the grade 2s. So I'm only running 3 copies of Dragres Ashura from set 1, who, when she attacks for 2 energy, you can choose one of your rear guards. When it would be retired, it'll come back to hand and she gains 5. Along with that, when she's retired from your rearguard circle by your Varga skill, you can counterblast 1 to call her back. Notably, for both of these skills here, when they're retired by the Varga skill, you don't actually need them to be in the front row. So if you want to set up different attackers first, or you just want the extra power increase because you're trying to push further, you can call these to the back row. When Rakshasa restands off its first swing, and it'll wipe everything, you'll still get the attacks, you'll still get to call back out the Shura. And the main other attacker you would likely want to do is going to be 3 more Boulder Axe Dragon we talked about on the ride line. I'm maxing out on them in the main deck too, because it's one of your best excuse me, it's one of your best rear guards. He's a draw, he has extra power, so he already hits grade 3s on his own, you don't need a booster, and probably a powerful card. And then lastly, for grade 2 units, I'm on 4 copies of Fall Heart still, who, when discarded to ride, for 1 counterblast or 3 energy, you draw a card. Also, when placed on Guardian Circle, gets that ability. And then on your Persona Ride turn, you can pay the same cost to call a non-Sentinel grade 1 or lower unit from drop. of course, I'm still on 2 copies of Defensing Roar, which lets you choose one of your guardians, give it an extra 10k shield, and it'll return to hand at the end of the battle. So you can, like, use it on Fall Hearts. It'll be a 15k guard, you'll draw a card, and then it'll go back to hand so that your next turn you can discard it to ride, or you have another draw guard later that same turn. You can use it on the triggers so that they're bigger, and we'll get to the other reason I'm on the Defensing Roars later. And then for my Regardless piece, I'm on Union the Sky, which does the same thing as Fall Heart if it's discarded. And for ride, you can pay the same cost to draw a card, and you do remove it. And its actual ability as a Blitz Order is for Counterblast 1 or Energy Blast 3, you draw 1, remove it, and give your Vanguard plus 15, well, whatever unit's being attacked. You give whatever unit's being attacked plus 15, which in Varga will always be the Vanguard. Then you can bind a copy of your Vanguard from your drop, and it'll be a plus 25 instead of plus 15. A very good defensive card, fantastic card that's come out of the special series deck set Stardust Blade, I think is what it's called, the Vergilla Precon. Onto my grade 1s, I'm on 4 copies of Rakshasa, who on place turns off your opponent's ability to intercept, and when a unit in the same column in the front row is retired, you can retire him to draw a card. So he's just more card draw. He stops your opponents from using their intercepts that they already have on board and that are being wiped anyways from Varga. I'm still on the 2 copies of Unparalleled Dragon. I think the 15k booster is really powerful. I think it's really helpful. And again, at the end of the battle it boosts, you can Soul Blast 1 and retire it to draw a card. So it's more card draw as long as you have the soul to facilitate it, which does become a little bit of an issue, I will admit, with the 3 copies of new Rakshasa support, Storm, Slasher, Dragon. So first off, we'll talk about the second, Continuous. As long as you're in the MALWYRM state, it gains 5k, so this is a 13k beater the moment you're on Rakshasa. Along with that, when it's retired by Rakshasa skill, you can call it, well, when it's retired from the rear guard by a Varga skill, you can just call it back to the back row as rest. Then, if you are in MALWYRM already, you can Soul Blast 1 to restand it. Which means it's another 13k booster, it's a repeatable 13k booster that can help with your last Varga swings. And lastly, obviously, I'm on 4 Sentinels. Well, I'm not sure I'm going to keep the Sanctitude personally. I am on 3 other Blitz Orders, but I feel like the Sanctitude is going to be really helpful going into new Stride deck formats. I think we're going to be seeing them start to come up again. Now onto the triggers. I am on the Soul Crit still, and they are actually more relevant now because you have 2 cards that want to Soul Blast pretty regularly. Impale Dragon and Storm Slasher. So they will actually come up that it's Soul Crits. Along with that, I have 3 more just regular non-effect criticals. I'm also on front triggers, which is the other main reason I am on the Defensing Roars, because 30k guards that comes back to hand as a 20k, that's pretty good in my book. Along with that, with the boards you're going to be hitting sometimes, you'll be calling back Shura, so you'll have at least one of the unit benefiting from the front trigger. And again, it's just extra guard. I think the extra guard is enough of a reason, personally, even if only Varga will be hitting it sometimes. 4 heal triggers. Excuse me. And lastly, for my OT, I am still on Spiritual King of Night Sky, Nyx Lazalia. I really like Nyx Lazalia in this deck. I think the extra heal is incredibly helpful, and being able to call a unit off of that too on swing, I think is fantastic. It's a heal both on offense and defense. It doesn't nombo with Varga's divine skills and its passive, like Dragres does. The other OTs I do really like for the deck are going to be Ido's Faro, because just recurring a card is always going to be helpful, and the extra critical is really helpful when you're pushing for game. And Merid Zomblia, because 9 times out of 10, and if you hit it, you're always getting to at least draw 2. If you hit it on your Rakshasa Divine and swing, you're drawing 3 cards. It's an extra board wipe. And more card draw is always good. More card draw is defensive. You've seen my philosophy with this deck. Like, I like to draw cards. Alright, Walnut is alright. It's a bit more situational because while you're pretty consistently seeing the Shura because you're drawing into them, you're going to see them just through how fast you go through the deck. Like, you might not get the restander, but it is another attack too because you can just draw and call a unit from hand. And if you happen to draw into Twin Pulsive with the... if you happen to draw into Twin Pulsive and you have the energy, his ability is not locked to the main phase on place. Because typically, you're not actually able to do that. But, this is it. I hope you guys really enjoyed my video on this one. This is a deck I've been having a lot of fun with. I've been really excited for. If you couldn't tell, because by the Now sleeves also, by the fucking SEC Varga, and everything. But, if you did enjoy the video, like, subscribe, follow me on my socials down below, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Ciao.